In this video, we will learn how to decompose the price effect into substitution effect, income effect, and endowment income effect using Slutsky method. This question was asked in the Indian Economic Service paper of 2022, I guess. The question is, a farmer grows 70 kg of X1 and 20 kg of X2. Okay. He keeps some part of X1 and X2 for the self-consumption and sells the rest in the market. Also, his utility function is being given, that is utility derived from consuming X1 and X2 is equal to minimum of 2x1 comma x2. We have the case of perfect complements here, and the price of X1 and X2 are being given as $2 and $3 respectively. Suppose the price of good X1 increases to $4, and at the same time his consumption also increases, that is the consumption of good X1. Okay, so it seems unlikely here, but let us see why it is more likely. When price of X is increased, consumption of the X is also increases. I will explain it in this example. We have to explain the behavior of this farmer using the substitution effect, income effect, and endowment income effect. Okay, so first thing is first, we are using the Slutsky equation. We should know what is meant by, and let me see if I have all the weapons with me. So I have these things in possession, so I will try to solve this question. So we have to use the Slutsky method here to decompose the price effect into three components. Okay, let me show it how do we do it here. Okay, let us see what we are being given first. We are being given the utility function of the consumer, which is utility of the consumer is, that is utility derived from consuming X1 and X2 is actually a min function, that is the minimum of 2x1 comma x2. Okay, so this is the perfect complementary utility function where the consumer consumes the two goods in the fixed proportion. Okay, this is being given to us. Similar, also we are being told that consumer has no, here the income is endogenous, not exogenous. We are not being given this, that the consumer has some pocket money or he has some real cash. Whatever he has, the endowment, that is, he has X1, or let me write the endowment by another, what we usually use. So endowment of X1, that is endowment of X1 is 70 kg. He owns 70 kg of X1, and similarly endowment of X2, that is he owns 20 kgs of good X2. Okay, I think it is clear to you up to this. Also we are being told that price of good 1, let us say it is $2, price of good 2, it is $3, and then the price of X1 has increased to, and let me show it by P1 prime, which is equal to $4. Okay, saleable area. So this is the information that is being given to us. Now we need to decompose this, how much he will demand of X1 and X2 given these sort of utility function and the income that the consumer is having. Okay, so let me try to draw the graph here. That will make perfect sense here, and I hope I am within the parameters here. Let me see. No, I am going. So okay, after this I can draw the graph. So let us denote X1 on the horizontal axis, what we do usually, and X2 on the vertical axis. Okay, first thing is we should know what is meant by the income effect, substitution effect, and endowment effect. Okay, I will explain that very thing also. Now when the price of good increases, in this case it increases obviously. So let me explain what is meant by price effect. Okay, let us say price of a good X has increased. Okay, now the price of good X has increased. That means quantity of that very good will decrease in the normal cases. Okay, quantity of X will decrease. Okay, the decrease in the quantity demanded when the price has increased is because of the two factors. One, what we call the substitution effect, and another what we call the income effect. Okay. By substitution effect, what we mean, how much quantity of good X has decreased due to the substitution. Okay, that is meant by in plain terms I can explain it here. Since price of X has increased, obviously good X has become dearer or expensive to the consumer. So obviously he will substitute and consume less of good X1. Sorry, good X here. That is, quantity of good X will decrease. Because of the increase in the price of good X, it has become expensive. Because it became expensive, consumer has the substitutes, he will demand less of good X. Okay? This is what we call the substitution effect. Then we have the income effect. Income effect shows how much quantity demanded of good X has decreased due to the change in the real income of the consumer. Okay? How much the quantity of good X has decreased, obviously decreased here, because of the change in the real purchasing power of the consumer. And let me explain it here, okay? So remember, I am doing all this stuff for you people so that you understand. There are, different ideas here. All I try to, engulf in one video. So what is meant by income effect? That is, when the price of a good has increased, consumers' purchasing power decreases. And let me explain it. Suppose price of X was initially, let us take 25, okay? And income of the consumer was initially 100. Now with this income and this price, how much quantity of X will he purchase? Here you can see it is total income upon, I am just giving the hypothetical example here, so it will be equal to total income, the price of good X, that is equal to 100 upon 25, which comes out to be, he will consume, let us say, 4 units. Now let us suppose price of X has increased to $50. Income is again same, which is 100. Now how much he will consume? Here you can see, so he has 100. Nominal income is, here same, which is 100, but price of X is increased. So here you can see with the same income, he is now able to demand only 2 units of good X. Okay? So here we can see the quantity demanded of good X has decreased due to the change in the real income, because nominal income is same, but real income has decreased, because with the same $100, he is now able to demand less units. Okay, this is what we call this income effect. By endowment income effect, there is again same when the when the prices of good X, in this case X1 has increased, the endowment income of the consumer has in fact decreased. Okay, and I will explain it that very step also. Now coming to the question, let me now wrap this up. I hope you are done with these things, what is meant by income effect, substitution effect, and endowment income effect. Okay, now let's come to the question. Now what will consumer do? First we need to find out what is the total income of the consumer. Income is here endogenous, not exogenous. So what will be the total income of the consumer? That will be equal to price of good 1 times the endowment of good 1 plus price of good 2 times endowment of good 2. Okay, that is initially price of good 1 is 2, so 2 units, endowment is here 70, plus price of good 2 is 3 and endowment of X2 is 20. So this becomes 7 2s are 14, share. Initially he has an income of $200. Okay, now what will we do here? We will draw the initial, so consumer's endeavor will be, and let me write it here first. So first thing is, what will we do? We want to maximize the utility of the consumer, that is minimum of 2x1 comma x2, what we usually do, subject to the constraint that he is facing, that is price of good 1 times units of good 1 plus price of good 2 times units of good 2 should be equal to the income of the consumer. Okay, this will be the price constraint in initial selling. Now here you have the price of 1, so we can write 2 and 3, so that is 2x1 plus 3x2 should be equal to the income of the consumer, that is 200. Now consumer's endeavor is to maximize the utility with the given budget constraint, and let's draw the first budget constraint, initial budget constraint. So let me use the another color here. Okay, so let us draw the budget constraint like this. Let us say this is the I'm really sorry, I cannot do the basic things here. I guess my mind is probably off today. So this is our initial budget line. Okay, so what is the what we call utility maximizing condition? What is the utility maximizing condition? That is the slope of the budget line should be equal to the slope of the indifference curve. Okay, now let us see what is our indifference curve. In this case, it is actually L-shaped indifference curve. I have explained it in the earlier videos. So let us say this point, initially the consumer is at this point. Okay, let us say this is the indifference curve he is facing. Perfectly complementary. This is the indifference curve. Now we need to find out how much quantity of good x1 and x2 will he initially demand. And let us give the name to the budget line. Let us say this is A, B. So this is our initial budget line. Okay, so our initial budget line is AB, and in AB what we have? We have P1, P2 and income. Okay, now consumer's equilibrium is, in this case, when we solve the Leontief utility function, so we have min function u is equal to minimum of 2x1 comma x2. Okay, so consumer is what we do in the case of the perfect complement is we equate whatever is in the bracket. So we equate for optimality. For optimality, what we do, we equate 2x1 is equal to x2. Then we plug the value of x2 is equal to 2x1 into the budget constraint. Okay, so if I put it into the budget constraint, what will I get? I will get, so let me write it here. For optimality, what we do, we equate whatever is in the parenthesis, x2 is equal to 2x1. Okay, then we plug the value of this into the initial budget constraint, that is, so we have plug the value of x2 here, we will get 2x1 plus 3 times the value of x1 is 2x1 again. 2x1 should be equal to 200, so we get 2x1 plus 6x1 is equal to 200, that gives us 8. x1 is equal to 200, that gives us, dividing both sides by 8, x1 will be equal to 200 divided by 8. So 8 2s are 16, 8 3 sharan, so you go 0, 5, so we get here. So consumer will consume x1 as 25 units, and what about the units of good x2? Simply plug x2 is equal to so x2 will be equal to 2 times x1. x1 is 25, so he will consume 50 units of good x2. Okay, x1 and x2 will be equal to 50 here. Okay, so initially consumer is consuming, let me draw the small 50 units of good x1. Okay, this is our initial budget line. In the Slutsky method, I am just giving you the a sequence. How do we solve? First we draw the initial budget line and find out the optimal bundle. Next we draw the pivoted budget line. Okay, so this was initial budget line. Now we do the pivoted budget line. pivoted budget line. By pivoted budget line, what we mean, here you can see, we are being told that initially the prices were given, then price of good one has increased. Okay, here you can see price of a good one has increased. That means when price of one has increased, we need to find how much will the consumer consume at new prices and old income. Now, so pivoted budget line will be, that will be, and let us draw it here for the sake of simplicity. So let us say this is our pivoted budget line, A, B naught, okay, sorry, A, B prime. So A, B prime will be a function of the new price of good X1. P2 will remain same, but income of the consumer is also same. Okay. Now at this new budget line, again we need to find how much he will, demand of good X1. Again using the utility maximizing condition, that is, we have the main function u is equal to min of 2x1 comma x2. Optimality requires that we equate whatever is in the parenthesis. I have explained the main function in earlier videos. You can check out why I am doing this thing here. Okay, so 2x1 is equal to x2, so 2x1 is equal to x2. Solve again. Now let us see what is our new budget constraint first. So what will be our new budget constraint? Again we have to maximize u is equal to min of 2x1 comma x2 such that new budget will be equal to p1 has changed, so in place of p1 we have 2, now we have 4, so the such that 4x1 plus 3x2 is equal to 200. Okay, again using the this thing. Now plug the value of x2 is equal to 2x1 in this equation. So what will we get here? So we have 4x1 plus 3 in place of x2, we have 2x1 is equal to 200. That gives us 4x1 plus 6x1 is equal to 200. So shut or get the x1 is equal to 200 and x2 will be equal to 20. Okay, so when we solve this, we will get x1, let us denote it by x1 prime is equal to 20 and x2 prime, since x2 is twice that of x1, so x2 will be equal to 40. Okay, x2 prime. So when the price of good x has increased, quantity demanded of good x1 has decreased. So let us say it is somewhere here at this point. Okay, at this point let us draw the indifference curve which is L-shaped. So quantity of good x1 has decreased to 20. Okay, so it is our x prime here. The third thing is in this case, and let me see if I am within my limits. Okay, and it is, I guess I am still in my limits. Okay, so we have drawn the initial budget line and find out the optimal quantity that he will consume, then the pivoted budget line. Now we need to draw the shifted budget line. Okay, shifted budget line. Shifted budget line. But let me explain. Now what happens here? Initially he was consuming at this point, since price of x1 has increased, he is consuming less of good x1. Now we need to find out how much extra income do we need to give to the consumer so that the initial bundle is affordable. Okay, initial bundle is affordable. Okay, why need to find out how much extra income do I need to give to the farmer that he is able to demand the initial optimal bundle. Okay, so that will then I will explain the shifted budget line. Okay, because we are compensating for any decrease in his quantity demanded. Rather, we are compensating him by the amount his income has decreased. Okay, so I hope I have done justice in explaining to you. Simple thing what I am doing here. Since quantity demanded of good X1 has decreased, I need to find how much extra money do I need to give to the consumer so that he is able to demand the initial bundle at this point. Okay, so for that, what will be the amount of income that I will give to the consumer? That will be equal to the change in the income should be equal to the change in the prices. Okay, so prices, initially price was 2, it became 4, so change in the prices P1 prime minus P1, which is equal to 4 minus 2, which is 2. Okay, change in income times the quantity of X1. Okay, so let me write it. Change in income will be equal to change in the price times the units that he was consuming at X1. So change in the price, as I told you, it is 4 minus 2, which is equal to 2, times he was consuming, I guess, it is actually 25 here, sorry, okay, sorry. So it will be equal to 2 into 25, which is equal to 50. That means I have to give to the, rather who am I to give him? We have to give him $50 dollars, so that the initial bundle is just affordable at new prices. Okay, now we need to find out the shifted budget line. Now we need to find how much income is there. So new income of the consumer will be equal to, that will be equal to the initial income, that was M, plus the extra income that we are giving him, that is M plus del M, which is M was M क्या वो से 200 plus 50, which is equal to 250. Okay, we give him 250 units of income. Now we need to find out the shifted budget line. Shifted budget line. So what will be the in the shifted budget line? Shifted budget line should pass through this bundle. Okay, and let us how do I draw the shifted budget line? So okay, and let me use another color. I have here one, so let me use another color to make the things simpler. So when I draw the shifted budget line, that should be parallel to the pivoted budget line. Okay, simple reason is relative prices has remained same. Now the problem is I cannot even name it, so let us say it is CD. Okay, so shifted budget line will be equal to CD here, which will be a function of new price, that is P1 prime, price of good is same, and income of the consumer has changed. Okay, now we need to do the same operation, that is maximize, again maximize U is equal to minimum of 2x1 comma x2 subject to the new budget constraint. What will be the new budget constraint? Price of good when, that is 4, that is size there, 4x1 plus price of good 2 is same, so that is 3x2 should be equal to the new income of the consumer, which is 250. Again doing that very mergent task, that is consumer is at equilibrium when slope of the budget line is equal to slope of the indifference curve. So using that very condition again, so we equate 2x1 with x2, solving them. Okay, plug the value of here, so we will get 4x1 plus 3 into x2 is 2, x1 should be equal to 250. Solving, let me solve it. If by now I say 5 or now I shall Okay, let me see. Okay, so it is 4x1 plus 6x2 is equal to 250. Sorry, x1 it is. So the x1 is equal to 250 dividing both sides by 10. So we will get x1 is, again let's denote by x1 double prime. It comes out to be 25. Okay, x1 is coming out to be 25 again. Okay, इसके for this. Let me write it here now to save the space. और